G'day, it's Mark Rogan here from O'Neill Real Estate. This is number 5 Malu Court in Camillo. We are in a cul-de-sac street adjacent to another cul-de-sac street with this corner block. This is an interesting property. Interesting story too. I've already shot this video, and then when I went to upload it, no audio, even though I had a microphone plugged in for the whole experience. So I've already done this video walkthrough, and now I've got here to shoot the video again. And it's raining. It's almost like this house doesn't want to be done up. But guess what? It's happening. You, me, we're gonna make it happen. This house will be returned to its former glory. And we will go and have a look at it because I reckon back in its day, like this was a great design. We're gonna go room by room and have a look at that. You're gonna see what it's all about. We will take you through on a journey that is best enjoyed visually because aromatically, not quite so pleasant. We will see what we've got on offer. Look at this living room at the front. That's what we're dealing with. Great space and a whole lot of opportunities. We will go back to this room. That's the main bedroom. I'm going to show you a lot more detail. Just giving you a quick crash course. Bedroom number 2 there. I mean, it is grubby. Like I think you know by now, we are dealing with a bit of a pig, but you can take a pig and you can make all sorts of delicious things with that pig. And this one will hopefully be a great experience by the time you get through with it. We have another bedroom here.
Oh, and that's where the smell is coming from predominantly.
Ooh. And we have the laundry at the back. Now, that's kind of the crash course. Then we're going to go outside and we're going to have a look at what's going on out there. There's a lot of opportunity with that space, that's for sure. So great big patio area. We'll go and see all of that in a jiffy. But for now, let's start here because, you know, every day starts in the kitchen. We're making a cup of coffee. We're making breakfast. Just not in the kitchen as it stands right now, I wouldn't have thought. So look at what we're working with. I reckon I'm going to share some ideas with you as we go because I get pretty excited about this floor plan. I think there's a lot we can do with it. Firstly, this was a formal dining room back in the day. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not imagining that there's been a great deal of formal dining happening in recent years based on what you see right now. So, and are you a formal diner? I personally don't dine formally that often. Now, I'm happy to sit down to a delicious meal, but even in this size area, probably not going to happen. So here's what I reckon. We've got this kitchen. It's a good size, but there are certain things that help places sell for more money. Now, you might be buying this as something that you can renovate and sell. You might be buying it as a home buyer. We're going to look at it at a couple of different perspectives there. So we've got this kitchen area here, which could be quite easily renovated. You're dealing not with corner benches and weird spaces, you're just dealing with good straight runs like that. So a nice straight run across there with a new bench top. Obviously new cabinetry as well, but go with a nice stone bench top or something like that. And you've got a breakfast bar over on this side. You've got a meals area over here. So there's good functionality to the way that this is all set up currently. You also have a pretty easy side to work with over here. Fridge recess. Yeah, whenever somebody moves out, there's always a bit of gunk under the fridge. That is next level gunk behind the fridge as well. I don't know quite what it is, but I reckon there's a couple of cockroaches responsible for that. Anyway, they are gone. Well, I don't know if they're gone. I can't see them. It certainly smells like they were here. That is what we're working with either way. So straight runs through there, straight run along here. The configuration of it, pretty workable. Get some overheads in here as well. Now, one thing that you might want to consider, and we'll work through this in a couple of different ideas, right? But you could either make this a 4x1 or potentially a 4x2. We'll get to that in a minute. But you could enclose that, shut it off from the kitchen, have it coming off of here. Again, not a huge bedroom. But I reckon that you run a stud wall from here across to that side. We got us a scullery. We got us a butler's pantry. We've got us some very usable space adjacent to the kitchen. And kitchens are the things that add value to homes. They're a central part of what people love about a home. Kitchens are the centerpiece of daily life, right? So you could really easily do that. It's adjacent to the kitchen, so you just have to work with what's here. It's a stud wall. It's obviously additional cabinetry, but I reckon that would really, really work well for that because it's not highly functional as living space with that current L shape. And then it still leaves you with a good sized lounge room. You've still got plenty of room in here to work with at the front of the home. You don't have to do this, by the way. You could just leave it as it is. It flows really nicely, like it is okay. But I'm just talking about the value adds because I know that is a big part of what you might be looking at, whether you're a home owner or somebody who's buying this to turn it over and get it ready for the next people to move into. You know, you've got to have the options. So that's an option with that. You've still got good living space here. And, I just had to pluck some cobweb from my hair that I found in this corner. There we go. Moving through that. You never know what you're going to find in the spider's snack cupboard. Right. That's, fell from my hair and into my nostrils. That's delightful. That's, you can get in there with the cobweb brush. Maybe before you do the scullery, I reckon get rid of the cobwebs. They're fairly thick over here. I don't know if that's just a little bit of leftover Halloween decorations. If it is, they were fairly realistic. And that's what we've got in this space. Now, obviously that living room flows back this way, but just giving you a bit of perspective on that. And then whatever you're doing with this space, be it a meals area, additional living room, whatever you want it to be, that all flows very nicely to that outdoor living space. But let's go back and talk bedrooms, because before you get up and make breakfast each day, you were probably in a bedroom. If you're buying this house, this will probably be yours. It's the main bedroom and it has semi-ensuite access to the bathroom through there. So another thing I'll point out, by the way, we've had a structural report on this property and we have an electrical safety clearance certificate as well. So whatever you're seeing and looking at going, ugh, that doesn't look, guess what? We've got the certificate. She's all clear. So there might be some stuff that's been disconnected. Structurally, we've had the report done and we can give you a copy of that. It's available for download at markrogan.com.au. If you send us an inquiry from there, if you haven't already, there'll be a link to get all of that information. Now, the mattress is staying here, by the way, and it is still in the bag. It's orthokinetic. Now, as somebody who used to sell mattresses before he sold property, I can fairly confidently tell you that orthokinetic doesn't mean anything. You just take one word and another word, put them together, and you have something that sounds like it's a spinal benefiting range. It probably doesn't really mean anything. But I think that mattress will still be here when it settles. So you can camp out here quite comfortably and get things done until you wake up and look at the carpet. Want to get to that kitchen, make that coffee. None of it's exciting at this moment, but the opportunities certainly are. The walls obviously need some serious patchwork. By the way, if you're looking at this video, we're only 8.5 minutes into it already and go, this is just taking way too long. You can skip along. That's the reason we put it up in this format, so you can skip along or you can get as much detail as you like. If you look up, which is a very important part, the ceilings and cornices and everything like that seem to be in good order. As you can tell, it's a long time since it's been painted. Not a lot of cracking or anything like that. Little bits here and there, but it's just the settlement cracks. There is a section of the roof, or the ceiling rather, or the roof that was leaking and the ceiling that had a constant drip, but that's not sagging or anything like that around there. So all part of the patchwork, folks, all part of the patchwork. The home does have ducted evaporative air conditioning. Is it working? We're not guaranteeing anything, folks. Nothing is guaranteed to be in working order in this one. It's an as is, where is sale if you haven't cottoned onto that already. It is what you see is what you get. And what you get is this bathroom that has been basically updated. Now, the previous occupant needed some accessibility changes made, and that has happened. So that was all sorted. We have access directly to the shower. So the floor of the shower was retiled, and we've got all of those handles and washing positions and all of that sort of stuff all taken care of. say washing positions, as in like you can wheel in here and grab the handle, and the handle can also go on there. You don't have to wash only your nether regions in this shower. You can wash your, what's the opposite of the nether regions? Maybe I just use the word head. Just wash your head. Heather regions? That doesn't make sense either. Okay, so that is what we're working with. As you can see from the vanity, yeah, pretty trashed. You'll need a new one of those. There has been some water leaking in the old chipboard that's been here since the dawn of time for this property, but you'd be replacing that anyway. We also have a termite clearance certificate, so there's no active termites in the house or anything like that. That's just rotten chipboard in there. Okay, I say just rotten chipboard. I mean, in an ordinary situation, you'd be like, rotten chipboard, but here, I mean, that's just the least of your worries. So this room here, I reckon you probably want to replace the carpet. The carpet's tried to replace itself, evidently, as it seems to have balled up into lumps here and there. And this room is, you've got like some pretty cool things, like you've got timber windowsills and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't a basic build back in the day, I can assure you of that. The basic builds were certainly nowhere near as spacious, and this has been quite a well-considered design back in the day. Another thing I want to point out to you as well, there was some ceiling damage that we've actually had repaired, and that is where that happened. So there was years ago, I think the old evap air conditioner leaked, and that did cause some damage there. So that's been fixed professionally by a builder, and that has only been done in the last week or so. So that's all good. And so you're not dealing with like that kind of stuff on day one. You can get in and work on what is predominantly cosmetic. Now, cabinetry is cosmetic. Right, now, it's an important factor in any house, the toilet. You're going to be here day one, you're going to be working on stuff. What are you going to be looking at? If you're not interested to see up close, because it is always a telltale sign of what's been going on in a place, look away now, skip, I reckon, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. We'll go and see what we're working with. Oh! Actually, not the worst I've seen. What is interesting though, it's definitely not the worst I've seen. I mean, you've got 2 bottles of powerful shine. I don't even worry so much about the shine, so much as I worry about the germs. Powerful white shine bleach gel. Use both bottles. It might clean up quite nicely just until you get that job done. Or maybe it's the first thing you take out the first day you get the keys. I don't know. That's up to you. So we've got another thing I wanted to point out, right? So this cupboard is massive. Now, I've been selling real estate for 19 years, and I've had units that I've sold that have bedrooms about that size. That is a very decent sized cupboard. That's adjacent to the kitchen. Now, if you did that thing with the butler's pantry, that is like serious storage, because that's kind of really more the pantry space there, but very, very functional storage. Use it as you will. And I'm going to talk to you about storage because of this. So actually, we'll get to it in a second. I've got to show you the third bedroom. This is bedroom number 3, where the carpet in bedroom 2 looks brand new by comparison. Yeah. So... Oh! Just a couple of rodents, I would think. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You're getting in here, you're doing everything anyway. But yes, that room is the pongiest of all the rooms. Now, on to good ideas. And I'll just get this door open for a little bit of air. Oh, it's locked! Ooh. Okay, we're okay. All right, so this is the laundry. Now, hear me out on this thought, right? Because the laundry is quite big for a laundry. Does it need to be as big as that? No. I mean, it's not massive, but how big does a laundry really need to be in 2025? I get it from the days of, by the time you settle this, probably 2026. I get it from the days of, cloth nappies and buckets and soaking things and all that kind of stuff. But these days, the machines do all that work for you. Or if you've got a nappy and you're like a lot of people, you probably just chuck that thing in the bin. But this laundry is probably a pretty good size as a bathroom. Now, that would make this a 3x2, which would be a very attractive configuration, let me tell you. And then we could also, because we've got this cupboard here, like a washing machine and a dryer and a small trough. That's pretty much a laundry these days. The European laundries, as they're known in the new builds, are very common now. And I reckon that could potentially work because it depends on how much you need a big laundry versus how much you could potentially use another bathroom. Just a thought, folks, just a thought. There's a lot you could do with that. And I reckon that is well worth considering. So I'll leave that to you to have the considerations about. But if it was me, I'd be strongly looking at that because that's where your value add in a property like this. And the thing is all the plumbing and everything is already here because it's a laundry, for starters, which required water as a laundry. And all your plumbing and everything is out on this side. It's 2 external walls. You've got an external wall here, an external wall there. So the ability to do the plumbing stuff, I mean, I'm not doing it, so I can say this. Quite straightforward. Quite straightforward. So there you go. There's some options. Already, we could potentially add a scullery. We could potentially add another bathroom. You could forget about the scullery idea and make that a bedroom. As I said before, quite a small secondary bedroom, but not like ridiculously small. But would be awkward coming off of the lounge room, potentially. Hey, if you've got ideas, check out the floor plan, work it out for yourself. I reckon there is a whole lot of scope with this one. Is that enough inside? Have you seen enough inside? I reckon that should pretty much do it. I think you've got the idea. If you want to come and see it in person, of course, we can make that happen. And just hit up the team at markrogan.com.au and we'll set up a time for you to come through. There's going to be advertised home opens on this one as well. Outside, remarkably fresh air. Certainly when we run the comparison between the house and the patio, it's like a whole other world out here. But the patio is a decent size. You could paint this up. It's kind of currently very mission brownish. And that is changeable. You could leave it as it is as well. The brickwork around the house as well is brown, but not like, it's not bad. I have seen this brick painted. I don't know about you. I actually quite like the painted brick look. I think it's really workable. If it's done right and you're using the right products and you're not trying to sort of cut corners with doing it. Like I did see somebody who painted up to the downpipes, didn't lift the downpipes off, didn't look good. But if you do it right, it can come up great. Now, when I first saw this house, this was a jungle out here, a proper legitimate jungle. You could barely get through that gate. And when you did, you were just hit in the face with trees and overgrowth. Now it has been cleaned up. They've spent a fair bit of money with a tree lopper getting all of this tidied up. So a lot of the low sort of scrubby stuff is gone, which is fantastic because it's a bit of a blank canvas for you. And that is a very positive thing if you're making any changes to the inside and also out the back. Get some garden happening. You've got trees like this. I mean, that's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Sorry, I just got a cobweb on my hand from before. I didn't even realize that. If you've been getting cobweb in the lens, I do apologize for that. That's all right. There is a lot of scope for what you could do out here. There is a bore on the property too for irrigation. That hasn't been working for years and years and years and years. And again, folks, it is an as is, where is sale. So what you see is what you get, and what doesn't work won't be working. The bore will not be working, but maybe, just maybe, you could get that happening. That is something for you to look at, and then you could have all of this irrigated from the bore, or you could set up something from the mains. So all of that big overgrowth that was happening out here, all cleaned up, ready for you to get stuck into it and make it something. Now, you could get some side access too. You could get, if you're moving in to live here, I think a lot of what I've been saying has been like you were going to flip this, but you could make it nice just to live in it. Like, it is a really great little street, cul-de-sac off a cul-de-sac. That's the other side of the cul-de-sac there. You could get some side access here to a garage, to a shed. You could potentially do that on the other side as well because it's really clear, easy access, which is awesome. And out the back, little garden shed. Gutters are still going to need to be replaced because we had trees sort of leaning right up against those. They're gone now. And all of this looks to be pretty accessible and pretty workable. The clothesline is perfect for hanging just a single shirt. Just hook it in over the top. Takes a while to get through a load of washing, but you know, it's effective. Just hook that shirt straight on the top. Let it dangle. It'll dry eventually. So that's what you're working with out in this fantastic backyard area. Now, currently it's quite contained. The previous owner, as you might know from being inside, did have dogs. And they were kind of kept separate from the yard space, or from the patio space rather. They had access via the laundry through the dog door into the jungle. And that was what was the deal with the big fence around the inside of the patio. But you can open that up, get a bit more flow, make all of that work. All right, now we'll go back out the front because I kind of bypassed that because I was so eager to show you what was happening inside. One thing I will point out as well, the switchboard has been redone. So that's all current. Well, not current as in like, well, there is current flowing through that. That is all modern and updated to a modern day standard. This is the old retic system for the bore that is no longer in working order, but it looks like there's still, who knows, you might be able to get something going with that. You can fiddle around with it, work it out for yourself. The bore is located out the front, and that's one for you to have a look at. Now, as we go across here, got the double carport out the front. Probably suggest at some stage weeding the gutters. Or at the very least, whippersnippering. Whippersnipping. Getting a whippersnipper to whippersnip. It's not whippersnippering, it's whippersnipping. I'm 22 and a half minutes into this. I'm not going to pause and start again just for one little stuff up like that. I hope we've been together now long enough that you can forgive it. All right, so out the front, your property line is approximately here through, well, there's your water meter. So just on the outside of that. There's no survey pegs or anything like that to work off, so working with some approximates there. You can see more on the online map that we have available at markrogan.com.au, or go to the City of Armidale's website and muck around with the mapping site there. That's always an interesting tool, the intramaps. If you just Google City of Armidale intramaps, it'll take you to that very interesting tool that they've got on their website. You can measure things up, work out what will fit where, work out how much space is available, and that can be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm 40 years old, so that's the kind of fun that I have these days. You might have other ways that you would amuse yourself, but for me, I love mucking around on intramaps. I don't play golf, but I love getting on the mapping site and measuring distances from here to there. You can pass hours away doing that. All right, so that's the property. This is the street. Really handy location as well. If you jump on Google Maps and just zoom out a little bit, you'll see there's a park that's accessible through the end of the street. You can walk through that, and you've got quick access to Westfield Park Primary School. You've got quick access to the local shopping centres. You've got quick access to public transport. You've got quick access to so much. But in this quiet little cul-de-sac street, I don't think a car has gone past since we started this video. 25 long minutes ago, my goodness. If only the first one had gone. If I had proper sound for that first one. Hopefully this is recorded. If you get to the end and you've only been hearing every second word, I just wasn't going to do it 3 times. But this is what we're dealing with. 5 Malu Court. Very, very cool property. A whole lot of opportunities. I hope you have seen everything you need to see after that long, long journey that we've been on together. if you've stuck around till the end, thank you so much. If you've gone, okay, that was enough, I've just got to go and see it for myself. Hopefully I've already met you at the inspections. And we will talk about some of the options when you're here in person. I think you're going to like it even more in person because, there's nothing quite like the holistic experience of walking through 5 Malu Court, getting everything, getting the look, getting the sound, enjoying the experience of the smell. In the meantime, if there's any further questions, hopefully we can answer them for you. We are not going to sell it until after the inspections. So if this is how you're making your decision to buy, we are still running the inspections for people who come through in person. We'll be presenting the offers to the seller, see what they have to say, and we'll give everyone an opportunity to submit an offer on this one. It's Mark Rogan from O'Neill Real Estate. Thanks so much for watching.